Hello, everybody. Hi, besties. How are you? I'm excited. Welcome to MarTEAnis Hour. It's an special hour where we're going to recap our favorite shows. Today, I'm recapping Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 7, Episode 5, The Burn Session, and also Family Karma, the first episode of the new season, Season 3, My Big Fat Indian Wedding. But before we start, I want you to make sure you hit that subscribe button and also like and comment, besties. Leave me your comments because I'm going to be reading them and sharing your opinion here live on our next show. So let's start with Potomac. The show starts with Candice and Ashley. Ashley went to visit Candice and they were having a very candid conversation about, Ashley going through her separation and how she went on a date. And Candice has been really, really a good friend to Ashley by pushing her to date and step outside the Michael bubble. Like honestly, I still don't understand what uh, Ashley saw Michael. It's crazy to me that she's still like questioning if she wants to go on dates or not. Candice also mentioned that she entered to the group dynamic because of Ashley. That they've been friends since they connected through pageantry and how they were the young, fresh girls in Potomac. Um, and Ashley's asking her to be more active and present at the group. And um, Candy said, like, no, I stopped IVS because the stress you guys are putting me through. And it's true. For the past few episodes, all that they've been focusing on it's Candace and um, and Cruz's marriage, and I completely understand that. And then even Candice mentioned that Chris is not very comfortable being around the girls anymore because of the accusation that they have been thrown at him this whole entire time, and she's not there for any of that. We also talking about marriage. I mean, they do like to talk about marriages, even though Karen and Ray were not present in this conversation. Somehow their names came to be. Candace and Ashley were talking about the fact that uh, the rumors were still out there about Karen having her escapades. And the producers even showed Cherise the reunion mentioned in Blue Eyes. How do you feel about that part? How do you feel about the fact that Candice and Ashley were complaining about, you know, the rumors about Chris, but then they talk about other people's rumors? I don't think that is okay because that's not being proactive about the issue. That is actually, putting more gasoline to other issues on the show. But that's what we love Potomac, because they truly are the girls who are getting in the mess and clocking in and bringing all the drama to the table. This is not like other franchises where the drama is off camera. The drama happens on camera. On the next scene, we see Mia talking to her husband about a trip to Miami. And honestly, you guys, how amazing would have been if they do a Potomac Miami crossover. Like Mia goes to Miami and she meets with one of the girls from Miami and they have a good time. I would love that because I miss my Miami girls. Like those are my girls and I would love to see them interacting with the girls of Potomac. During this conversation, though, we found out a particular detail about Mia's marriage. The way that she met her daddy G, as she called him, um, was in Miami 14 years ago when she was on a girls' trip and he was still married. She didn't care. She even said like, "Oh, we had sex on the beach, and people were watching, and it was a good time, and that's how that's how we met." He probably wasn't that happy in his marriage, but girl, I mean, I don't know. People say, "Oop, flu face." I have 3 dogs, so you can see hair flying around all the time. But in this life, this is what happened. But not to be honest, like how you get your man is how you lose them. I'm not I'm not saying that they're gonna end up in divorce or like he's gonna cheat on her or anything, but it made me question if they have some kind of arrangement as what they are allowed to do outside the marriage. Also, because she was asking what she was allowed to do in Miami, and that's how the whole story came to be. Um, I want to know. I mean, I'm not against it. I mean, if they have a happy marriage and they have an arrangement of how they can play outside the marriage, I mean, power to them. I will not be able to do it because I am a very jealous person, and just the idea will trigger my anxiety to the point of going crazy. But it's something that I actually caught my attention. I never heard that before about them. So it was like brand new information to me. I was like, oh, so basically you were the side piece for a hot minute while he was still married, and then you broke up at home. I mean, she can break up a home that was already broken, but he was still married. And I believe that if somebody's married, let them finish their marriage first before you getting involved with them. That's just my personal take on things in life. Um, so I was like, I don't know if this is the type of story that you should be sharing to the world or be so proud about and so candid. But I mean, power to her, and I want to see where this Miami trips goes, because where Mia goes, there's always drama, and I'm here for all the drama and the mess. Giselle, on the other hand, or I will say on the other foot, she went to a pedicure place, and the only thing that really stood out to me in that scene was the fact that she grabbed the feet towel and wipe her face with it, because that was gross. And honestly, anyone who does that, I think they just need to like get checked with their doctors because you are wiping your face with like fungus stuff. I mean, I don't care if it was a fresh towel. They use those towels to clean people's feet, and I'm not gonna put that towel on my face. That's just my opinion. And when I saw Giselle doing it, I was like, gross. Please don't do it. Please do not use the towel that they give you at the pedicure place for your that you use for your feet to wipe your face. Just don't do it. You don't want fungus growing on your face. Imagine this like big freaking uh explosion of like disgusting fungus on your face. I mean, come on, it's gross. Then we go to Robin. She's talking to a lawyer about prenup and how she can handle the whole situation with Juan, and what would be the best way to do it. She is telling her that she wants to keep her business separate because they are very successful. I need people to tell me about these businesses that are successful when it comes to the housewives, because I'm always wondering, is successful mean like a few people buy stuff or a few people tuning into the podcast? Because I personally don't know what Robin does outside Housewives. I did not know that she had like a website with like Exquisite or something, and she had that podcast with Giselle. But who listens to it? I want to know. I want to know if it's truly juicy. I'm gonna have to take a listen to it because I'm confused. I want to know this whole like, oh, my business is so successful. And I'm like, I mean, yeah, I mean, you have more money than Juan, obviously, because you are working on a TV show and you're probably getting paid a lot, especially for, like all the endorsements and, like the podcast and whatever. Yes. But the level of success, I want to know exactly what it is because I'm not very familiar with her podcast. I might have to take a listen to it and learn from it because I don't know. But she also mentioned that she wants to have a infidelity clause because that was what it caused the breakup in previously. I agree. I agree that marriages, especially those who are entrepreneurs and have business going on, and they want to protect those businesses. I mean, a prenup sounds very, smart and necessary. You want to separate uh, your own personal, you know, businesses from a marriage, um, you know, transaction. Let's say that because you don't know. I mean, we all can say like we have had relationship. I've been married before. This is my second marriage, and my first marriage was horrific. Like the way that it ended, and the way that it was. I was taken advantage of in the process. So I will always tell people if you have any type of business or any type of less successful uh, entrepreneurship going on, a prenup is always a good idea. So I'm gonna give that to Robin. Like she has that down. Not like Teresa. I love Teresa. I love her. My Jersey girl. I love her to death. But the fact that she has continuously said that she doesn't have a prenup is very concerning because she came into a marriage, you know, knowing that she is rebuilding her name and her wealth, after the whole Joe Judice's taxes fraud. So the fact that she hasn't admitted that she has or she doesn't have a prenup, I'm worried because I really hope that Teresa learned from the past and she think not only about herself but what she's gonna leave to her daughters in the process. Like um, at this point, her daughters are grown ladies, and she had to think about what they are going to do if anything happens. That's what you do as a parent and as a business person. You think about, uh, if I get divorced, this person is not going to take the hard work that I put into rebuilding my brand. So yeah, I agree with Robin, and good for her that she had that prenup going on. We also had a scene with Wendy, Karen, Ashley at the Tulip Farm. One of the funniest parts is when Karen asked Ashley, she asked her about Michael's vasectomy, and she said, like, I just don't care. He can do whatever he wants with balls, take them out, remove them, whatever. And I laughed because it was the first time that she was showing that she truly, truly doesn't care for him. Because previously she seemed to be like, okay, yeah, we're getting divorced and that. But she was showing, I think, too much compassion for him versus what he has done to her this whole entire time. So seeing her being sort of disconnected with the whole Michael vasectomy, I think it was great. She needs to go out. Like Candace said, girl, you don't need old balls. You need new tight balls, like young, fresh looks from Winter House balls. I mean, I think Luke is a really good looking guy, and he seems to be like he's very fun and the type of guy that maybe he's not looking for anything serious, but she doesn't have to be looking for the next husband. She has to be looking for the next guy that she wants to hang out with, and that's why I'm very happy with their public dating. I mean, they're young, that they are part of the Bravo universe. It's like the perfect crossover, and they look together so great. I saw them at BravoCon, and I'm just still surprised that they haven't publicly admitted they're like a fan, like a couple or whatever. But we are seeing more public display of affection and She was hanging out with the Winter House people, and he was in DC. They were seen out and about over the weekend. So Ashley is out there following Candace's advice, like, girl, like, get out of like Michael's ball. He chopped them. Like, it's time for you to also chop the attachment with him and go on dates. That was great, and probably it was the beginning of her realizing that she needs to put herself first, and do her thing, and good for her. After that, that's when Wendy arrives, and she wants to share with them how she felt about the whole Robin not inviting her to the play date. I still call it the low budget play date. That was horrendous. Do not let Robin organize any more group events. She dropped the ball in so many levels. And the fact that she didn't invite Wendy's kids, I mean, she did technically, but no parent is going to send their kids to a play date with a person because they were not invited. That's not how it works. And the fact that Robin did not understand that part, and she was still saying that she was okay and she had the right to not invite Wendy. And like, this is not about Wendy. This is about Wendy's kids. You know, the last time that I checked, she did not have the issue with her kids. She had an issue with Wendy. So I'm still wondering why she decided not to invite them. I mean, it was really low belt, like hidden low below the belt. And Wendy was saying that she was like, "I'm not gonna send my kids to the play date with Candace when I'm not invited. Like, what is this? What are you trying to do?" And with that said, she came up with the idea of doing a burn session. This burn session sounded more like the Mean Girls burn book, which it was a disaster, and it was a disaster about to happen. You know, when that van pulls up, and you know that it's going to be messy. So it's truly, I don't know, I find it really hysterical that when I see a van, the first thing that comes to my mind is like, oh my gosh, the next 10 minutes is going are going to be nuts. They're gonna hit the fan, and it's gonna be insane. And as soon as they got to that vineyard, you knew that the tension was there. And oh my gosh, I don't even know when Wendy decided to go first about burning whatever feeling that they were having, and she was talking to Robin, and Robin said like, "Yeah, but I wanted to stop saying that I was being restrained. I'm not a thug." I'm thinking to myself, the first thing that came to my mind was when Monique, the umbrella gate. Um, First off, every time that I see an umbrella, that's what it comes to my mind. That is to me one of the most iconic moments on Potomac. But then you remember one thing: Robin has this really bad tendency of overstepping people's private space, like personal space. Like, don't step in my bubble. If you are so angry, do not get close to me because you don't know how I'm going to react. And that is the problem. The problem is like, Robin, she might not see it herself because she thinks she's not being aggressive, but when you're coming towards somebody, getting close to that person, you are invading people's personal space. And it's not the first time we had seen it on Potomac. We had the situation with Monique. We had it happen with Ashley, where she was pointing to her face and going like this, like get out of my face, and it's where she was pointing. So uh, this time she was coming towards Wendy with her chest wide open, like, you told me to get up, so I'm standing, and all the stuff. Um, and Cherise had to put her 10 fingers, not one, 10 fingers on her shoulders to be like, calm down, just, it's not the moment, it's not the time, relax. So when she denied that to Wendy and the producers cut to that scene, I was like, right there. The producers are the messiest housewives right now. They keep these girls checked every single episode, and I'm here for it. Then it goes to Mia and Ashley because they're talking to Candace. I don't even know why I feel like this whole Chris situation is a production behind the scene from three ladies before the show started, and they decided to go after Chris and Candace's marriage. That's how I feel. That this is alleged. This is my opinion. It feels like three people in that cast got together and decided we are going to go, you know, against Candace, and because two of those ladies have little to no storyline, and the other one wants the spotlight away from her alleged, you know, sexual harassment ex-husband, because Ashley said it to Candace. She was like, "Oh, it doesn't feel how's it feel when the pendulum just like hit you or something along those lines?" And that's when Candace said like, "You are a vindictive bitch." It's true. Like, why would you say that? It feels so planned. It feels like they decided uh, to just destroy somebody's marriage. I mean, I'm not saying this is exactly what happened, but that's how it feels like. When Ashley said, uh, told, when Ashley told Candace that she heard from her friend that Chris was being inappropriate, and he was asking her about, what's the closest hotel and what's not. Candy was right. She was like, "Why you didn't tell me this when you went to my house? Or why didn't you just call me or tell me in private? Because I have handled your issues in private." The Michael harassment stuff, it doesn't matter how many times Candice has been denying it. It truly is been documented. It's been documented. There's audio, there's pictures, there is there's allegations of ass grabbing and all this stuff, you know, and they keep saying, yeah, this is not exactly what happened, but it's more than one person. Maybe one of those situations was not exactly what they looked like, but it doesn't take away of the fact that he was inappropriate several other times. And these ladies did give him the benefit of a doubt several times. Like Candace said in our previous episode, if if he was Michael, he will be received with a tea party, you know, like nothing happened. But there is a weird vendetta against Chris, and I want to know why. As a viewer myself, I want to know what is the end goal of putting all these allegations when are serious. Words like, I feel uncomfortable. Oh, she is allowed to feel uncomfortable. I mean, I'm talking about Giselle, about the whole meeting in her room or whatever during the reunion. But a legend or that he was trying to be sexual or something along those lines is dangerous lines that you don't want to cross unless you know for a fact that there was a um, harassment vibe, like if he was making a move or saying something inappropriate or touching in a way that you didn't want to be touched. That is understandable. But just by putting that out there, you are putting the man's reputation in danger, especially in nowadays, uh, you know, environment. The last thing that you want is for people to believe that you have been extremely inappropriate or have made somebody feel uncomfortable in a sexual way, because it can be truly devastating for anything that you're doing with your life, any business, marriage, your family. It's a lot to put on the table, just for um, a false accusation. And yes, if she felt like she needed to talk about it, they should talk about it. But for example, the Mia thing, I was saying before, the producers are keeping all these ladies um, checked. Mia keeps saying that Chris was staring at her, and at first she made it seem like he was being, sexual, like staring, like nonstop looking at her body or something like that. Now, at the end of this episode, she said like, "Oh, he was staring at me, but not in a sexual way, just looking." And cut to the producers once again, being the messy housewives that they are. They show the clip of Chris looking away, like he wasn't even looking at Mia. So I don't know where Mia's getting this idea that he was looking at her. Maybe she wants to be looked at by him. You tell me. Leave a comment or tweet me at MarTEAnis Eddie on Twitter, because I want to know your opinion about this whole thing. I want to know how you feel about the accusations made towards Chris Bassett. I have a feeling that this is more of cast members getting together and planning and producing, and maybe they are not thinking about the consequences of those words, than actual situations where Chris has been inappropriate. Because it all started with the whole Instagram story response. But if we see that from the perspective of these people being friends and knowing each other, it didn't read as an invitation to anything but just meeting at the place that he was working at. That's just my personal opinion. And that ends our episode. It cuts right when Ashley and Candace were going at it, and Candace is about to go off. When I say off, you can tell that that girl is about to just eat Ashley alive. And I'm so excited for the next episode, because that is something I want to see. Because one thing that I love about Candace is her ability to read people for filth. Period. Like I said before, leave your comments, like, subscribe. But especially right now, I want you to comment about the Chris Bassett accusations. I want to know your point of view and your perspective. Moving on to a different show where they're not having separation or sexual harassment accusations. They are having the biggest wedding ever. They are in Mexico. My Family Karma people are back on my TV, and I'm so excited because for those who are not watching Family Karma, I'm telling you, it's one of the best Bravo shows out there. It's typical old school reality TV show. Honestly, it's so non dramatic with drama. Like, it's a break from Housewives that we all need. We truly need to realize that there are more shows out there than Housewives that we should be looking into watching. And Family Karma is one of those shows that I did not watch from the beginning, and I just started watching recently. And I watched season one, two, all the way through, and I fell in love with every single character in that show, because it's true family dynamics. It's nothing more than true family dynamics and the culture. When I'm talking about this wedding, Michelle and Rich's wedding, it's absolutely amazing. It's 3 days of nonstop just party and culture. And as someone who appreciate different, cultural expressions and uh, different cultural backgrounds, watching people celebrate something like a wedding in such a beautiful way that is only um, kind of like it's a staple of their culture. It's amazing. Let's start with the fact that they started with a mezcal tasting, and the food. Oh my gosh, the food was amazing, and you can tell that they truly have a connection as a cast, because they all know each other since they were little kids. So they've been through ups and downs, and we see all those dynamics play out in the previous seasons. So to see them going to Mexico and enjoying the time with Vishal and Richard out in Mexico, it's um, amazing. I was so jealous because I thought I had a great wedding. I was like, oh, my wedding was great. No, no, no. This is next level. This is like 20,000 levels up there. The color, the fashion. Oh my gosh. My girl Bali is killing the confessional look game. She had this red dress that has like a very deep cleavage, and it's kind of like lacy, and her hair is back, and the makeup. I just love Bali. Bali is stunning, and I met her during BravoCon, and I just fell in love with the way that she acts. It's amazing. I mean, she's stunning, and the way that she presents herself, amazing. So she was there. Everybody is there. Brian is now talking to one of their friends. That's like, uh, uh, she is almost 40. She's like 37, and he's like way younger. So he's all intrigued about the whole situation, and you can tell that she is being flirty. And Brian's parents at the confession, they're like, that's not his type. She's way too old and all this stuff. And then Vishal said like, uh, yeah, she is gonna eat him alive after they have sex. I mean, it's like the funniest commentary when it comes down to their friends and kind of getting to know each other. Brian, obviously, he is, like this like playboy, and like he likes to, date, and he just said that he wants to date an older woman, and then we have, this girl showing up in the first episode, and it seems like it's going to be uh like part of his like storyline, like him trying to date her and how everybody's gonna react to it. I loved it. I truly loved it. And we also get to the night of, I guess, one of the weddings. It's like 3 days wedding. It's not the wedding, but it's one of the parties before the wedding, and they have this like dance. Um, the parents dance is just hysterical because it's the typical parents dance. Absolutely madness. They're not in any, the choreograph is all over the place, but it's so fun to watch. But obviously, uh, Richard's mom doesn't want to participate, and it's the funny thing because next thing you know, you see her doing a solo act, you know, and it reminded me one thing. She's like, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing the parents. Uh, Lopa is like, I'm not doing the parents dance. I'm the Beyonce of the parents. She literally did her own solo dance. She's the star. She knows that. So at that party, also we see the arrival of another person who was missing at the beginning of the episode, which is Anisha. She showed up and she let everybody know that she moved to Arizona out of all the places because she met somebody. She hasn't dated anyone for a long time, so she doesn't want to tell anyone who the person is. It seems to be like it's somebody in a big business because she said like he's very successful in his business, so he doesn't want to be, revealed just yet. I read that she got married recently, So I will have more details on that for the next episode recap. But she stunning. And she is supposed to be Vishal's best friend, and Vishal was really upset that she wasn't there earlier, and she was texting him and maybe changing plans. But what she didn't tell him is that he moved to um, to Arizona, and that's the reason why she showed up late in the wedding celebration. Um, Shitra, her mom, which reminded me so much of my mother. It's crazy. In the confessional, she said that she wants her daughter to get married. It's about time. But one thing that she's not going to approve is the idea of going to a courthouse wedding because it will be time to call the ER and call the ambulance because she's not going to take that. And that was exactly what my mom told me when I told her that I was getting married for the second time because my now husband wanted to do a courthouse wedding. And my mom and his mom were like, absolutely not. We have friends, we have family, we are doing the whole shebang. It's gonna happen. So that reminded me of my family dynamic, and that's why I love this show because it's so relatable. It's they're not putting on a show to like showcase brands or like wealth or anything like that. They don't try to do that. That's not their um, the show about. That's not what the show is about. The show is about families, and it truly captured that. Even this first episode, the trip to Mexico, it felt like a trip that I will have with my family and my friends. If we go all together, friends that my family knows for years, that's how we feel. Where we have this interaction, we interact with my friends' parents in that way too. Um, that's why I'm obsessed with this show. Um, and we also have the fact that of Bravo, we are losing a lot of the cultural expressions. I wanted to talk about just real quick before we end the live show. Bravo used to be the cultural channel back in the early 2000s, and even before that. With Queer Eye was one of the first shows. Uh, and Project Runway too, and it was supposed to be about culture. What was happening out there. That's why a lot of gay content was created for Bravo, and that's where the Housewives came to be too, because they wanted to find women's out there to be able to express themselves on national TV. But for the past few years, I have noticed that as a viewer, the Bravo has declined the amount of true cultural expression on their shows. And sometimes when they try to touch on that topic, instead of making it a educational moment, it usually goes south and it becomes extremely problematic. So I'm so happy to have Family Karma back on my TV screen because that's what it's all about. This first episode this season, it made me love like Indian weddings so much because you don't see anything like that outside their culture. The colors. They have this ritual when they put turmeric on their faces. To like it's kind of like a beauty treatment, but it's also like a religious thing. And they showcase that in each area of India, they have different traditions for weddings, and because they are from different areas, like the parents come from different areas of India, they have to celebrate all those cultural moments too. So, you see different stuff on the show that as somebody who is not part of that culture, I love to see because I learn so much from even just watching a reality TV show. And I hope that people actually watches the show and understand that part too. That it's not only entertainment, but for outsiders like us, it's a window to a beautiful culture, a window to beautiful people with beautiful fashion. Like, oh my gosh, Let me see if I can find it because I have it on my phone. It's right here. Let me see if I can. Bali wearing this for her promo. This is stunning. I don't know if you can see it because the glare, but it's stunning. And Reshma, which is Vishal's mom, serving, serving right here. Look at that. Look at that. So for that reason, Family Karma has become one of my favorite shows to watch because it introduces us to family, to culture, and to a non-dramatic show, or at least a show that is not trying to be dramatic. That it has drama because all families dynamic has drama. So if you're not watching it, this is your time to get on your Peacock streaming service, watch season 1, watch season 2, and catch up with season 3 because I'll be recapping uh, every Monday if I'm able to, but or whenever after the show the episode airs, I'll be talking about it because yes, it's one of my favorites now. So that will be all for today, you guys. This is it's been an amazing time with you guys. And before I go, I want to make sure that if you like this episode, give it a like. If you enjoy this content, give it a subscribe. And if you have any suggestion, any topic that you want me to talk about, any show on Bravo or any other channel that you want me to watch and give you my reviews, feel free to leave a comment because that's what I want. I want this to be as interactive as possible. On Friday, coming this Friday 11, I have a special guest. He runs one of the best podcasts on iHeartRadio. He is pop culture like historian. He knows everything. He knows everyone. But I'm not going to reveal the name yet. I want to keep you guessing. And I will see you on Friday once again. If you like this show, subscribe. This is Eddie from MarTEAnis with Eddie. Goodbye, guys. Bye, besties.